Wait a minute. Okay, are you ready, guys? We will sing together. Come on. Turn on your microphone. Come on. I want to hear your voice.
It's going to be a solo today.
No. I don't want to follow today.
Oh.
A good voice. Why you guys so quiet? Okay. Okay.
No.
Okay, are you ready, guys?
Yes, it's already 8:15.
Okay.
The other can join anytime.
Okay, we will sing happy birthday to Miss Danielle because many days ago she had her birthday. We will make it special as we can.
Birthday anthem.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
One more time. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Birthday.
Hip
birthday.
hip
Happy
hooray.
Happy
Birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday,
Yay.
Mr. Daniel. Miss Daniel,
Oh.
sorry.
Happy birthday, Miss.
Happy birthday, Danielle. So
Well,
always everything that is best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
All the
you.
best.
Oh, thank you. All right. Oh, let's see.
please wait.
Okay. What is next after?
We will announce the winner of.
Actually, your voice is too what is it? Too soft. It's not loud enough.
Oh, okay. Is it enough?
Yeah.
For the next, we are going to announce who's the winner of essay writing
okay.
competition.
Okay. So today we are going to announce the winner of the E-ProClub essay writing. But first of all, I would like to say sorry for the announcement delay because of we have to wait the result from one jury that it's very, very busy for what is it? Checking or correcting the students' final exam. Okay, but finally we got it. We finished it. Okay. So now I'm going to share the screen, and I would like to share this one. Okay. Okay, can you see the, what is it? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. So this is the flyer. So the Pro Club essay writing competition under the theme. So you can choose two topics here, types of information allowed on social media. And then the second one is the spread of hopes in social media. And then I would like to tell you also that the number of participants for this competition is 14 students. Okay, and they are all good. Okay, and thank you for your participation. Okay. And before announcing the person, I would like to show you the result of the, the scoring from 3 judges. So there are 3 judges, okay? 1 international judges, who just celebrate her birthday, okay? And the 2 others, national judges, okay? So the rank is between the score is the highest one is 289, but there are 2 participants who actually got the same score, okay? And then the lowest score is 224. Again, thank you for all participants joining this competition. Okay, and then if we have the sound drum long, okay, and the winner is, okay, are you ready? Guys?
Yes.
Yes? How about the others? Only Efto is ready. How about the other? Okay, and this is the winners. And before that, I would like to remind you also that it is already written in or mentioned in the guidelines that this decision is final and binding. Okay, are you ready? Because there are 2 participants who got the highest score, so there will be 2 winners at the same rank. Okay, so there will be the first winner, second winner, third winner, fourth and fifth winner. Okay, so we have decided that. Okay, now let's see from the 5th winner. Dang, dang, dang. Music. Yeah, so Owen, where is Owen? Let's give applause to Owen, got the 5th rank.
Congratulations, Owen.
Is Owen here?
I think not.
Not yet. Okay. And then the 4th one. Music. Efto, you want to sing?
No, no thanks.
Okay. Lisa.
Yay, Lisa.
Lisa.
Congratulations, Lisa.
4th winner.
Oh.
Is Lisa here?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
She's here.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Lisa.
Thank you.
And then now let's go to the 3rd winner. Okay, are you ready? Yes, yes or no? The 3rd winner. Yeah, it's not fair. Efto is the winner here, the 3rd winner. But it's not my decision, but actually because it is from there are 3 judges, okay? So, Efto, congratulations. Give applause to Efto.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's not fair, yeah. And then the 2nd winner. Yes, Gary. Where is Gary?
Oh, I think.
Is Gary here?
Oh, he's here.
And the
Congratulations, Gary.
first winner, because as I told you that there are two participants got the same score, and actually that's the highest score. So there are two first winners here. That the first one is Ferdi Satrio, and also Feby. Yeah, give applause.
Oh my God, thank
Yo
you.
and Feby, are you here?
Congratulations.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay, congratulations, Feby. So so that's the list of the winners. So congratulations for all of you who have win this competition, and then also thank you for all who has participated in the competition. Okay, so just remember that we are going to have another competition, so please join again the competition, that is public speaking. Yeah, okay, now I'm sure that you are also curious about the prize. Okay, so this is the prize. So you will have cash and also a certificate. So please do not jangan dilihat nilai hadiahnya ya. The amount of the cash, but the meaning of this prize. Okay, so the first winner, so there will be two first winner who will get 350,000 rupiah, and then the second 275, and then the third winner 250,000 rupiah. Okay, Indonesian rupiah, and then for the fourth and the fifth winner, each of you will get 200,000 rupiah. Okay, and then for all the participants, you will get certificate of participation. Okay, so I think that's all for the the announcement. And then for those who win this this competition, please contact Afto to give him your account number, because we are going to transfer all the cash or the prize. Okay, yes, hello.
Yes, you can contact me to claim the prize.
Yeah, so please contact FCO or the other the other member of the management of the E-ProClub. Okay, contact them and then give them your account number, and then we will transfer the prize. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you, and please join the next competition, that is public speaking. Okay, thank you. I think that's all.
Okay.
Again, give applause to all the winners.
Yay! Give applause.
So Gary, Gary's also here.
Gary.
Yeah. So remember that Gary today have to taste the durian, right?
Oh.
Okay, it's okay, Gary. Okay, Mrs. Danieli, can we start now?
I am ready. So I do have a shorter presentation today, and I think once we get into it, you will see why. So unfortunately, I did not ship any durian over. So, okay. Now I have to remember. I forgot where the screen share video is. Oh man, you guys. It's Friday. Oh, okay. Sorry. I just made everything disappear. How? Wait. The green arrow that says, okay. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. It's what we call a blonde moment. So today we were talking about public speaking, getting ready just for the competition coming up, and some of you had asked how to present a speech, how to prepare. So I thought we could talk about that today. When I was in college, which was about 10 years ago now, there was a class we took, and everyone had to take turns giving a 5-minute lesson about what they were going to end up teaching. So the one girl did a presentation for speech. She was going to teach a speech class when she got out of college. So this was like from 10 years ago, and I don't remember the exact speech, but I remember enough that it stayed with me. And there was a few reasons for that. But her speech was preparation precedes poise, which portrays confidence. And so we're going to just kind of break down each of those points: the preparation, the poise, and the confidence. But like I said, she gave this speech like 10 years ago, and I still remember that. And some of that's because she repeated that sentence a few times throughout her speech, but also because it's alliterated. So it sticks with you. But it's preparation precedes poise, which portrays confidence. And your speech is going to be a lot like writing your essay. So those of you that just did the writing contest, most of you presented a persuasive essay. And so your speech, your persuasive speech, is going to be just like writing your essay, but you'll speak it, present it instead. So, and those of you that missed out on writing the essay, that's okay. This is still a good time. Jump in, get some practice, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a new topic. So for your preparation, you want to pick a topic. Pick your topic, and what do you already know about your topic? What do you need to know about your topic? Think about these things, and then you want to know what your audience knows and what do they need to know. So while you're doing your research, you need to answer those questions. What does your audience need to know? What else do you need to learn? And find your most important points from your research. And from there, you're just going to write it out. Very, very much so. It's going to follow the same format as your persuasive essay. You're going to have your introduction, body, and conclusion. So when you write it out, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail here in a minute, you want to ask yourself, does it flow naturally? Does it make sense? Is it cohesive? Does it flow? Does it have a clear outline? I will encourage you very much so to make sure you have an outline. Remember, since it's a speech, no one has to read it, but for you to keep your thoughts clear and to keep track of where you are, an outline is very helpful. And do you want to alliterate or not? An alliteration is just if you want your points to all start with the same letter, like preparation precedes poise, which portrays confidence. All those P's as just alliteration. That's not required in a speech. It can be helpful if you want your speech to be memorable. If you want, if you want people to be able to remember it, remember your points, alliteration is nice. It's not required. I've heard a lot of speeches where they don't alliterate, and I've heard speeches where they have. So it's personal preference. It might be a little difficult with the English if you don't, if you're still learning, or it could just be a nice touch just to show how much you do know. It's up to you. Okay. So after you're done writing, you want to edit and review your speech. Does your speech make sense? Are your points clear? Do you think people understand what you're trying to say? Were you persuasive enough? Just edit it, review it, make sure that it's everything you want to say. And then from there, you want to practice. The best thing to do is to go through your speech multiple times out loud. And part of this is because if you go through it out loud, you're reading it, but you're also hearing it. See, we have 3 main learning styles. Some people learn by doing, which are your kinesthetic learners. Some people learn by hearing, which are your auditory learners. And some people learn by seeing, which are your visual learners. And those are the three main learning modalities. And so if you read it out loud, you're covering visual and auditory. And that's also going to help you memorize it quicker. Now, you don't have to memorize your speech, but knowing it very well to where it's almost memorized is going to serve you better. That way, you're not on stage reading. You're able to look up and make eye contact and continue to speak. So some other ways you can use to practice while you're reading out loud, you can use a mirror and practice making eye contact while you're practicing your speech, even if it's just with yourself, which is kind of weird, but hey, it works. Or you can imagine the audience. If you have a good imagination, you can sit in an empty room and imagine that you're up on stage presenting your speech. Or you could even record yourself on your phone and just listen to yourself and listen for how it sounds. Does it flow naturally? Is there a grammar error you missed? Something like that. And ask yourself, are you calm? Are you speaking too fast or too slow? Typically, my first speech, I was like, 5 minutes, I can do this. Yeah, I was done in 2. Too fast is a thing. And you want to also, when you get down to where you have a good draft, you're good, happy with your speech, you're not making any more edits, you want to go ahead and time yourself going through the speech. Did you meet the requirements, or are you still... Okay. So did you meet the requirements? Are you still behind? Do you have the right length? Do you need to edit something, add something? So definitely time yourself, set a stopwatch while you are doing this, just to keep track of your time. Because like I said, my first speech, I was done in 2 minutes. That's going to lose you a lot of points. And some of you might go over. So also, it's okay to pause. You can put some pauses in there if you have a comma or a semicolon, even a period in your writing that indicates a pause, and it's okay to pause. I am guilty of the next one though. I use more than I realize. So you want to avoid those things. Now, the word like is okay, obviously, when used in tense. Like, if your speech was on how you like hamburgers, that's fine, but totally okay is not okay. So, oh, wow, there's a lot going on here. Hello. Somebody has a lot of background noise. Okay. So if we remember, it is preparation precedes poise, which portrays confidence. So the more you prepare, the more you know about the topic, and the more you prepare to speak, the better poise you will have, which will give you an air of confidence. Webster's Dictionary defines poise, it's a word we don't use a lot, as easy, self-possessed assurance of manner, gracious tact in coping or handling, also a particular way of carrying oneself. So basically, the more you prepare with your topic, the more you practice and get ready for your presentation, just through practicing your speech and practicing what it would be like to maintain eye contact, the better you will carry yourself, the better you will appear, which will give you an air of confidence, even if you're making it up. I've learned just acting like you have confidence sometimes makes people believe you whether you know what's going on or not. Because I used to work in collections. My boss would be like, well, just act like you know what's going on, Danielle. That didn't really sit well with me, so I had to learn, but she just didn't want to talk to people. So she's like, I don't want supervisor calls. You just have to act like you know. Sure. So anyway, so back to our poise. One of the things you want to think about before you go up on stage, and like, I don't know, how many of you guys get nervous with public speaking? If you want to like put a 1 in the chat, or yeah. Anyone? Or how many of you guys have given a speech before?
Sometimes when I want to speak English, a lot of things come to my mind, but I can't get it off. So I became confused.
We cannot hear your voice, Efto.
Oh,
sorry. Can you know?
No, still no.
Check,
oh.
check. Hello. Hello.
See, I can hear you, but you're quiet.
How about now?
I'm still the only one, I think.
Oh. Yeah. As I said, sometimes my writing skills is better than my speaking skill, and when I want to speak, a lot of words come to my mind, but I can't get it off. So I became confused, and I just freeze. I just became quiet. And can you help me about that, Mrs. Danieli?
I think so. I think we should be able to find a solution that works. So.
I get the pharmacy.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrifying. I know in elementary school for us, we would do plays, random people speaking, and then we would sing Disney songs in between, and then the parents would all come and watch. Oh wow, so a lot of feedback. And so, but we didn't make ourselves, the school system, we didn't really get into presenting speeches until high school, where we had to write our speech and present it. So one of the nice things is since this is a persuasive essay, or sorry, a persuasive speech, you have time to prepare, right? Whereas if you're doing debate, you have some time to prepare, but not a lot. And you don't know what their counterpoints might be. So you've got to do a lot more thinking on your feet. Your persuasive speech, though, you're able to prepare exactly what you want to say. So definitely start by writing out your speech just like you would an essay. And then you can pick your words. And even better, if you don't know how exactly to pronounce a word, you can just like do Google and it'll give you pronunciations. I do that sometimes. Like the British, they call eggplant aubergine. And I'm like, how in the world are they pronouncing this word? So type it in and it will read it for you. And so definitely like use the tools you have to help you prepare. So write out your speech, and then, make sure you have, the words that you want, and then you can practice it until it sounds good. And then you want to think, do you have any nervous habits? When you get up on stage, are you going to talk super fast? Or are you going to freeze? I feel like a lot of you are probably going to freeze just because it's not your first language. And so what are some things you can do to prevent that from the freeze? And I will tell you, though, the best thing you can do is to practice. Just practice your speech, know your topic. The more you know your speech, the more you know what you're talking about, the easier it will come. Also, the more speeches you give. So if some of you are going into a career where you're going to have a lot of presentations, it's okay. the more you give those presentations, the more naturally it will come to you. Like no one in the audience like wants to hurt you just because you gave your speech wrong. You know, it's just a friendly competition, so don't be afraid of them. And then how prepared are you? Make sure you are prepared. Remember, if you've written your speech, so right there you had to think about your words a couple of times to get the best draft. And then you've practiced your speech over and over and over again. So you've heard it and you've read it and it's in your head. I would encourage you to just take your outline of your speech with you. So that if you do freeze, you can look down and see your outline. You can take your entire written speech. I discourage that simply because some of you might be prone to get up there, freeze, look down at your speech, and then read your entire speech without looking back up, without making eye contact, or to do quick glances. So the best thing to do is just to keep practicing your speech up until the event, and then go off of an outline if you need it. So preparation precedes poise, which portrays confidence. All right, so the more you prepare and practice, the better you will do on stage. So just a quick recap, since some of you did not do the writing contest, or some of you, when you're going to write your speech, you want to decide on your main points, outline your speech. You're going to have an introduction. So you want something that's going to like get people, like, one, state your thesis, but two, also get people interested in your speech. You're going to have a body with, so probably a paragraph with, for each of your main points, probably about 3 main points, and then a conclusion where you tie everything together. And go ahead, you can write your speech the same way you speak. Keep in mind your audience. Is this going to be a formal or informal speech? Because that will kind of dictate, you know, mannerisms that you might use in your speech. Make sure you have your strong opening, right? Because that, you want people hooked from the beginning to the end. And then make sure your facts, you have concrete facts. You can add a cute story since it is persuasive, but you also kind of want some facts mixed in there as well. And then just practice it out loud and refine it until it's good, until you're happy with it. Until, make sure though, make sure you practice with the time limit, so you keep that in mind, so that you know. What am I saying? Yeah, you practice so you don't go over time, or you don't go under time. So, oh wow, yeah. So I don't know if you can memorize your speech. Some of you, that's a bit much because that's a lot. Sorry, the cats are fighting. But if you memorize the main points, and the whole idea of practicing is so you have it down. And so if you do get lost, you can look down at your outline. Okay, this is the point I'm on. I remember that paragraph. And like I said, you know, if you really want to use a word, you have this time. Yeah, you have this time to look up the words and the pronunciations, right? Whereas when you're speaking on the cuff, like, okay, I don't have time to look this up. I have to do that when I write sometimes because my spelling is still not that good. And sometimes I will misspell a word, and the spell checker won't give me the correct spelling. And then I'll like try to misspell it even worse, and it still won't give me and I'm like, seriously? So few things. Make eye contact, right? When you're up there, you've got your outline, you're speaking, you want to be able to, you know, look, make eye contact. Don't stare, but don't just like whoop, whoop, right? Because that's too fast. So just make eye contact for a couple seconds. Maybe look at different spots in the auditorium. Actually, if you don't even make eye contact, but you look at different chairs in the auditorium, they won't know unless they're like not looking like at their feet or something. You could also, one thing I heard, if eye contact is really uncomfortable for you, I heard if you look at one of their ears, they won't notice that you're not looking at their eyes because you're looking at their face. You can also move your hands, right? We like to move our hands when we talk. If hand gestures are natural for you, that is okay. It can also help keep their attention, their focus on you because there's something moving. I had a speech teacher. He always had his coffee mug in his hand. Actually, yeah, he was speech the whole class because it kept us interested. He thought. I always wondered if he was really drinking coffee or like was it Mountain Dew or something. He was a really weird person. The only thing is I took his advice, and when I gave my speech in that class, I had I had a soccer ball. So I spent the whole time doing this. Do you know, did anybody pay attention to my speech at all? No, they were too busy watching my soccer ball and wondering, is this girl going to drop it or what? So I was like, okay, that was a mistake. So the next time I tried with a pen. You hear that? The whole time. Nervous fidgets. So if you know that you are a nervous fidgeter, don't give yourself something to fidget with, okay? But if you're not prone to nervous fidgeting, you can bring a prop if it helps, with your point. It takes a lot about just knowing you, your strengths and your weaknesses. And then, as you improve, as you've had more practice with public speaking and giving presentations, then you could probably hold a prop and you'd be okay. But if you're still starting out, it's okay to limit yourself. Try not to fidget. If you know you're going to fidget, then definitely practice more with envisioning yourself there. Practice envisioning yourself just standing behind the podium talking to the audience. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be presenting via video first, and then the top few get to compete in front of a crowd. So use that video to your advantage. Okay, make some good eye contact with the camera. I love to stare at myself when I do like video things. I encourage you to actually stare at the camera instead of yourself. But yes. So my best thing for you would be to write out your speech, then go through it until you can go through it without your speech. It doesn't have to be word for word, okay? But it does need to be your main points, and you have time to practice. And especially, a 5-minute speech isn't that long. It's not a lot of words. But I encourage, the first start is to write it out. Get your thoughts condensed down, make your outline after you've written it out, and you can take your outline with you so that when you freeze or you get stuck, you can look down, oh, I started point number 2, and remember where you were. Okay. Like I said, if you want to repeat something, it's okay, right? The whole speech, the whole lesson today was on preparation, proceeds, poise, which portrays confidence. And so it's okay to repeat some points, to reiterate them, and they will sink in. People remember them better, but you also want to make sure that you have all the points that you need to make your speech clear. So, is there questions about this?
So we can use the small card or what is it, cue card to help us presenting speech, right?
Yes. Depends on the rules, I think, but yeah, a cue card you can you can almost hide an index card in your hand, or set it on the podium. Or I know some people that use a full piece of paper and it's like bold print, so like they can like stand from the podium and read it still. I just don't want anybody up there reading their speech like this. Maybe I glanced up for a minute, then I go right back. Okay. So if you know that your nervous habits are one like this, then I encourage you to be aware of them, because sometimes if we're aware of our habits, it helps us to break them. For instance, I was writing this PowerPoint and I was like, oh, avoid Now I'm consciously aware, well, almost consciously aware of the amount of times I say in a day. So be aware of your nervous habits. Cue cards are great. Just, something to keep you on track, but not to completely derail your poise. You're welcome. Let's see. Yes, any other questions? So my speech teacher in college, he had like his teacher website, and we were all allowed to go and like look on his teacher website, which he linked to his personal website. And we from there, I found out that he was in a dance group. Now, this was an older guy and like a heavier guy, and he was a guy, and I don't really think of guys as dancers a lot, but okay. But it turned out the dance group danced to worship a snake goddess. So it was a whole kind of weird for me. I guess I probably, should have taken that consideration when he told me to hold something the whole time I gave a speech. But I just thought that was a fun story, completely unrelated. Anybody? How do I make it concise? So Gary asks, when making a speech, how do I make it concise and interesting to the listeners whenever I read it out loud? So you want to pick your topic, and then hopefully you get to pick an interesting topic. And then you want to make it interesting. So I had to write a paper about something that happened on the day I was born. It could have been any year. And so I picked a topic, or so I looked up, there was a website that lists everything that happens on this day in history. And I found on the exact day that I was born, like almost an entire village in Africa got wiped out. So if you can find something interesting, and I know some of you guys are already interested, like a whole village got wiped out on my birthday. Yes. There was also a hurricane coming through at the same time in America. But that's another day. And so if you can start with something interesting, and it was actually this is sad. It's actually kind of boring once you find out why, to a lot of people. But right there, like I started with the number of people that died, and we're already interested, because it's we're interested in train wrecks. We're interested in watching these things, and I forget, it was like 2,000 villagers or something. And what happened is a lake had developed in a volcano, and it had filled with the water because it was a dormant volcano. Well, there was still a bunch of carbon monoxide trapped underneath, and this big bubble came up and it spread out over the lake and killed everyone. And so the science side was still interested in learning how they were going to degas the lake. But everybody that's not sciencey was not interested after that point. So I'm trying to think, what was my point? So you start with something interesting, like so many people died on this day, on the day I was born. Not this date in history, but the day I was born. Woo! They're like, did he kill them all as a baby? Right? And then get into, how. And if you think about it, if you live in an area with a lot of dormant volcanoes, you could say, wow, is this a possibility for us here with this, lake, or something like that, and kind of tie it into where you're at, and it would keep people in the audience interested. This kind of goes back to knowing your audience and what they know. Like if I knew there wasn't a lot of sciencey people, then I would probably try to work on other dormant lakes or other bizarre natural phenomena that could kill us, and maybe tie that in. So it just kind of depends on getting your topic. Because I only had to write about what happened on my birthday. So I'd be like, yeah, like what other bizarre natural phenomena? But you have to write limited to your topic. So just try to think of interesting things. Try to think of your audience and their knowledge level, and think about what they find interesting. And even if it's something really boring, just kind of try to word it interestingly. Not like a tabloid per se, but things that keep their interest. Also, to keep it concise, read it and time yourself to make sure, like time yourself at your normal speaking speed. Not just reading it, because we read super fast sometimes because we know exactly what we're going to say, but try to read it like you're speaking and make sure you fit in the time limit, because I'm sure there's probably penalties for going under, going over. So then, Lisa, when I was delivering the first point of my speech several times, I feel like I'm starting to forget some of the things I have to say in the next points. Okay. So make sure you go over your speech multiple times before it's time to present. Just practice until you can start to say it without having to reference your notes. Okay. Now, if you've gone over this like 100 times and you still feel like you can't remember it, then you can do your outline. Bring your outline up with you, and hopefully just the points will prompt you. If that's not enough, as long as the rules allow, you can bring your speech with you, but please be aware of yourself, okay? Because if you are one who's, oh, I put my paper away. If you know that if you bring your speech up there, you're going to end up reading your speech off the paper, not making eye contact or barely glancing up to say you made eye contact, but not really, then don't. Okay. But if you know that you can be one who can glance, right, and then continue your speech, you can bring your whole speech. But I would encourage you to try to just bring your outline, and just to practice until you have it down, because I'm afraid the nervous habits are going to kick in, right? So just the more that you read it and practice it, because, when I first started teaching, I would have to spend, I would write out my notes. I would look at the curriculum. Curriculum's nice though, because you know what you're talking about. And go over what I was going to say, how to introduce it and stuff. And that's a lot of work. But once you get used to the classroom, get used to the students and the curriculum, it's not much, because you're used to being in front of them. So it gets easier. Let's see. Phoebe. While I still talk in the first point, my brain try to memorize the second. Oh, yeah. One step at a time. So the best thing you can do Yes, try to stay with your first point. If you fumble, just apologize and keep going. Okay. Your audience is human too, right? So I'm sure, and everybody has to overcome presentation at some point. So chances are your judges have done it before and they know it can be awkward. So the more you practice, the better. And just practice though, but don't practice reading your speech. Practice presenting your speech. So remember how I said, like, practice in front of the mirror or envision an audience. Like if you have a good imagination and you can envision the audience, you would practice, of course you're going to have to start by reading your speech, but you're not reading it. You are presenting it. So you're going to practice by reading your speech. So you find your first sentence, okay, you got on the, and you practice reading your first sentence by making eye contact with the mirror or by pretending you're in front of every people and not by pretending that you're reading in front of people, if that makes sense. So it's okay to have the notes here, to glance at the notes. You want to glance at the notes, look at the people. If you're looking at the notes and glancing at the people, you're bad, or backwards. I shouldn't say bad, but yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I like to envision the room full of people in my head, but I have an overactive imagination. The mirror is very good too, because then you can be aware of your facial expressions. Am I smiling? Should I be smiling? I just said a bunch of people died. No. But if I'm talking about something light and useful, I could smile, right? Be pleasant. So these are some things, but the more you practice, the better, and try to stay in the moment. Try to stay, okay, I'm in my first point, because the idea is to know your speech enough that you can give up and speak it from memory and just glance at your notes to help you keep place. Trying to think. So especially given that it's another language, write it out. Write out the words you want. Make sure you can pronounce the words that you want, and then take your time to just get comfortable presenting that alone by yourself before you go in front of other people. And be aware that while you're practicing your presentation, if your mind is jumping ahead, be aware of that and bring it back. Okay. And it's okay to mess it up. Just bring it back. They said something you want to practice. If you make, like when you're learning piano, if you make a mistake, you want to practice it correctly a few more times after that without mistakes, as just to get that memory in there. And I think it's kind of the same with presentation as well. Also, at the same time, too, though, I don't know if you've ever heard a piano recital. Sometimes someone messes up, and the only person that knows is the piano player and maybe the teacher, because the rest of us don't know how the piece is supposed to go. Same thing with your speech. If you mess up, or you really wanted to use this word and you messed up your word, or you put your points out of order, it's okay. Only person that's going to know is you, right? So, kind of keep that in mind as well. And also, how many people out there are not giving a presentation in a language that's not their first language? So right there, you should already have some confidence in yourself that you know this language and that you're putting yourself out there enough to present in it. So don't be afraid. Don't be hard on yourself. So I have used Google. I haven't played around a whole lot because I know, like, I like Duolingo. I'm sorry. What kind of apps can we use to understand the right pronunciation? I have not used, like, I like Duolingo a lot, but you can't look up words. They just want you to learn things. So I use Google. And let's see. But I would probably, I do how to pronounce. But you would want to do, let's see, and maybe just make sure you do American English and not like English. Okay, because those English people pronounce things funny. So, but that's what I would do. And don't get super hung up on the pronunciation, but make sure it is clear. Are there other questions? The best thing I can just tell you is to practice, but remember, don't practice reading, practice presenting from what you've written. Okay. That's the best thing I can tell you. And don't forget to fill out the attendance link so you can get your certificate of participation. Oh. Okay, good. Gary says it is good. Okay. Hey, Conehead. So this is the kitten. She wants to walk across my laptop. All right. So she got spayed 2 weeks ago because she was spraying the house. I didn't think girl cats sprayed. They do, apparently. So she got spayed because the boy cat's fixed and his sister's fixed. But anyway. And she managed to lick her incision, so she gets to wear the cone another week. It's supposed to come off today, so we'll see. Yeah. I will tell you, though. So I brought her home the first week, and she couldn't eat or drink with the cone on. She would, like, literally, like, not eat her food. She went over to the water bowl and would sniff it, but then she'd turn her head and, like, the cone's here, and she'd try to lick her cone. And then she put her paw in, there's water, and then she'd go right back to licking her cone. And I'm like, and I fell asleep the first night. I woke up and she was just laying in front of her food dish and it was still full. And I was like, oh my goodness, I felt so bad, you know? So I took her cone off and she started eating and drinking. So for 4 days, twice a day, I would take her cone off, let her eat and drink, wrestle her down, shove her head back in the cone, you know, like. So my neighbor's like, oh, I have a cat suit. So I put the cat suit on. And it's got a hole for her tail and her legs, you know, but it's just a pull cord with that little plastic thing. I'm not really descriptive, but it kind of tightens around her neck. And I'm like, so I loosened it a little. And of course, so I think she managed to lick her belly then. Oops. Which is how it got infected. And so anyhow, she got the cat suit dirty. So I took it off to wash it, put the cone back on. As soon as I put that cone back on, she goes straight to the food dish and the water dish and eats and drinks with no problem. I was like, seriously? Yes. So cats are fun. She's a little troublemaker. Now, Phoebe asks, how about the duration during speech? And that is a good question. How long is better? Yeah, people have really short attention spans right now because the internet, we have all this technology, so our attention spans are suffering. There should be a speech length provided to you in the requirements for the presentation, because I'm sure there's probably requirements for the topic and stuff, so that should be provided for you. But a good rule of thumb, as far as like when you're, well, what they taught me for education majors is their age plus or minus 2 years. So if I was talking to 10-year-olds, I have like 8 minutes to 12 minutes. And that stops about 30 though, because I don't know about you. If I was 45, I don't want to sit through 47 minutes of you telling something. So you don't want to go over like 30 minutes because I know church is usually about 30 minutes and then we're done. But I'm going to tell you probably your speech is probably only going to be 10 to 15 minutes, if that, because it's a competition. So if if you weren't in a competition and you were not provided a time frame, I would aim for the 10 to 15 minutes. You should be given a time frame, and just make sure when you're practicing your presentation that you go through that time frame. And I encourage you to time yourself when you do, because time goes a lot faster than you think. Actually, no, I said that wrong. Time goes a lot slower when you think, when you're up on stage and everybody's staring at you and it's like, okay, do I remember all my points? And then it's like, oh, it's been 2 minutes. So, oh, excuse me. So if they don't give you one, I would aim for the 10 to 15 minute one. If you get a business job and you have to give a presentation, once again, nobody wants to sit through those meetings. So like 10 to 15 minutes. You can go up to 30 if it's important, but I only hear that at like church stuff. I don't even pay attention. Like when the president speaks, his speeches, actually, I don't know if he's given a 30-minute speech now because most of his stuff is kind of incoherent. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Good. Yeah. 15 minutes is it it's a lot to go over 15 minutes, especially when like you have just this one topic. There's no questions. There's like, you don't have anything else to say. You end up like me, you just start rambling, telling cat stories. No. So that is good. And like I said, people have these short attention spans and you got to keep them interested. Also, one of the reasons though too, where if you are comfortable using your hands, that kind of helps keep them interested, at least to watch your hands. But not excessively. Okay. So balance. Let's see. So Gary wants to know if it's a 10-minute competition and the speech is 7 to 8 minutes, should I keep it concise or should I drag it out to the 10-minute marks? I would aim for the 10 minutes. Look at the there should be, we call them a rubric. But it's just like with the competition, it was so many points for style, so many points for originality, so many points for so whatever that grading rubric is. I don't know what you guys would call it. Usually there are points for the time frame. Well, in my experience, your competition might be different. There's points for how long. So you definitely do not want to go over at all. If you're under though, I would try to add another minute or two in there to get your 10 minutes. So you don't lose points. However, if you're going to find yourself rambling or putting in unnecessary filler, then just stop at the 8 minutes, because you might end up losing more points than you would for being short. But if you can find like a short, cute little saying that fits, or like a story that shows your point that you can put in there, you can just what else can we do? Yeah, so if you can try to find something that will tie into your speech, that will fill up that time. But if you can't find anything and you're just gonna add a bunch of like fluff, then go ahead and end it at the 8 minutes. But I don't want you to lose points for being too short. And props are okay if you're not going to play with them. Okay, good. Good, good. So, oh boy.
Miss,
Yes.
you often hear us speaking in English, and now I want to hear you speak Indonesia. Okay, just 2 words.
I only know like 2. What is it? This is there's Esa Unggul. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. And what is it? Sama sama is like thank you.
Sama-sama is like you are welcome.
Like
Oh,
you're welcome.
you're
You're welcome is
welcome.
same as sama-sama.
So I did it backwards. My bad. You're all like happy birthday and I'm like you're welcome. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Thanks guys. So I kind of thought you guys were going to sing happy birthday to me in Indonesian, but it's okay.
Efto can do it in Indonesian.
Of course I can.
Efto and Feby then.
Are you ready, baby?
Oh,
Happy birthday in Indonesia is like selamat ulang tahun.
is it
Pronounce that.
is it long though? Because my friends were singing to me and it was like it just kept going and going and going and I'm like, what is this? The candles are gonna burn the cake. So
Yeah.
oh.
Basically, the song of Happy Birthday in English is same as Happy Birthday in Indonesia, but we are just singing it in different
It
language.
seems like your voice is missing, Efto. Try to be louder.
Check, check. How about now?
That's better.
Okay, it's better. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, the song of Happy Birthday in English is the same as Happy Birthday in Indonesia, but we are singing it in different language like Happy Birthday to you in Indonesia, Selamat ulang tahun in the same melody, but with the
Okay.
different lyrics. Yeah.
Selamat ulang tahun kami ucapkan. So that's it, right? Selamat panjang umur kita
Kita
akan
akan
doakan.
doakan.
And then I forgot the next line. Selamat
Selamat sejahtera,
sejahtera,
sehat
sehat
sentosa,
sentosa. Selamat panjang
panjang umur dan
dan
bahagia.
bahagia. So that's in Indonesian.
Isn't there like a second verse or something or no?
Selamat ulang tahun kami ucapkan.
Because my friends were like, now we have to sing Let's Cut the Cake. And I'm like, I thought we sang that.
Oh, that one. Potong
Oh.
kuenya.
That sounds okay. Yeah.
Potong kuenya, something like that.
I think so. I think so. Yes. I was like, oh, why
That's
does
the kind of song that order you to cut the cake
Yeah.
and share
Yeah.
it with your friends as
Yeah,
soon
so
as
that's the
possible.
song.
Oh.
After the song is over, you have to cut it as soon as possible, share with your friends.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, they bought the cake, so I'm like, all right, you can have it. Yeah. Do you guys have like weird birthday? I shouldn't say weird. It's probably just weird to me, like birthday traditions. in Indonesia?
Birthday tradition?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no wonder they kept going. Okay. So in America, when we went to the public school, the teacher would bring you up in front of the class on your birthday or the after, like the week after your birthday or whatever. No. And they would get out the yardstick and they would spank you. Fake spanks, because you're not allowed to actually touch kids. But you know, one smack for every year, and then one to grow on. It's such a bizarre tradition, but yes. Tell me about this birthday tradition.
Block the learn.
Sipak telur?
Yeah, so usually, what is it? You have the act, and then you, what is it? You break the act to someone, your friend's
Oh.
head or face, something like that. And then also with spreading the flour.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And some sweet soys.
Now, is that like for good luck or?
Smother them with flour.
Oh. Okay. Like I know some people they have this thing where they slam their head into the cake, but I kind of want to eat the cake. Just saying.
That's also
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. So fun. Let's see. They tied the birthday boy or girl to a pole so they can't run. Oh my goodness. Or your friends will crack eggs on you. See, oh my goodness. So my birthday is in the summer when there's no school. Sounds like I would do all right. Oh my. But could you swim? That's good. That's good. I went to summer camp, and my best friend had gone to the summer camp for years. And this was my first year going. I was probably 15, 14, I don't know, 14 or 15. And she told my mom, you have to send Danielle a care package while she's at summer camp. It's only a week long. I don't know what I could have needed in a care package, but anyway, it's so fun to get packages. Everyone loves packages. So one day during like lunch or something, they have mail. I get called up because I got a package. Well, did you know any camper who got a package from their parents got thrown in the lake? And that's what friends are for. Oh. Oh, okay. But see, I mean, because cake, I don't know. I was taught not to waste food. So, like, the cake to the face. Yeah. Egg to the head. Although I've seen some videos where they have those really fancy cakes, which why you would do this with a fancy cake. And they put the dowel rods to keep the layers apart, and then they slam the face into the dowel rod. And yeah, don't do that. But I know, I think around Christmas time, something will be, I think it's more of a Hispanic culture. I don't know if it's like Mexican or another Hispanic culture, because we have a lot of different people in our area. So we have like Salvadorians and like some Guatemalans. So I don't want to say the wrong country, but I know around Christmas time it's a thing. They will take, I think it's Christmas, it might be Easter. It's been a while, but they take the eggshell and they poke a little hole in it, and all the egg comes out, and they manage to put like confetti in there, and then they break the eggs over their heads, but it's just confetti. And I'm trying to remember if it's Christmas or Easter, but they'll do that. And that was kind of funny because we used to have some kids in the neighborhood, and I don't remember what their culture came from, but it was a more Hispanic culture, so they would break the eggs, but there was no yolk inside. Right. It is hard to tell. So it's fun. Do you guys refrigerate your eggs? Because I know, like, in Europe, they don't have to, but in America, we do. So, and it has to do with, like, I think in Europe, they're, like, pasteurized or something. In America, they're not, or there's some kind of antibiotic. I forget. I Googled. I was just curious what the rest of the world does. So, woo. Why? I cannot spell today. Oh. Oh, yes, because our eggs are washed. Are washed. Go away, pop up. Are washed, processed, and then refrigerated. So apparently, once you refrigerate eggs, you don't want to unrefrigerate them because condensation can cause bacteria. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. So maybe it's just Europe being weird. The rest of the world can be like America. Maybe not. So let's see. Any other fun traditions? Easter egg hunts. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay, but do you guys have like any weird mythological creatures that come and visit you? Like we have Santa Claus, the Easter bunny, the Tooth Fairy, leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day. Like in elementary school, our teacher had us go through the school and we were hunting a leprechaun, and she made like little leprechaun footprints with like green glitter. I have no idea like what we were doing, but so only the Christians celebrate Easter. So do you guys have any weird characters like that your parents tell you about that aren't real? Sorry. Yeah, mermaids. Do they leave you presents? Everybody's quiet. Huh. It's interesting you guys have a tooth fairy. Huh. Huh. That was very interesting. So I know like Santa Claus, everyone's like, oh, well, that's based off of Saint Nicholas, who was a real person, da 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 da. But I just kind of wonder about Tooth Fairy being more than one place. But it's more. Oh, so okay. So we do have a mythological creature, but it's more the horror side of things. Oh boy. Does it come take bad children or just anybody? The pig just rubs on your house and steals your money. So if you're broke, though, you don't really have to fear the pig. Oh, interesting. Okay. Guys have a lot of money stealing fiends. See, we have Bigfoot, but he doesn't steal anything. What's wrong with green? That's like my favorite color. She's got some problem here. Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll just put up a fight. Huh. Oh, oh, that's terrifying. Uh, yeah. So, because we have like Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, we have Bigfoot, but Bigfoot doesn't do anything. He just hides, and then people are like, "Oh, we saw him." But we do have. I'm trying to think. There's probably about. We do have some urban legends though. Like there's this one where these people got stuck. Their car got stuck on a railroad track, and this train was coming, and it was gonna like kill them or whatever. And then like all of a sudden their car just started moving. It got like pushed out of the way, and they looked, and there was a bunch of handprints from like children on the back of their car. And apparently a train had hit a bus, like, years before, had hit a bus at that railroad crossing. I am telling the story all wrong, but anyway, it starts with the bus of children getting killed on the railroad crossing, and then the people put powder on their bumper, and their car got stuck, and then the train comes and they get pushed and they see the handprints. But I've heard that story about multiple different railroad crossings, and I'm pretty sure after the first bus of kids got killed, they started opening the door at the railroad crossings to make sure no train was coming. Because I don't know, like in America, we have a lot of trains, not as many as we used to, but any school buses have to stop at the railroad crossing, even if there's no train coming, even if it's got arms and lights, because not all of our crossing have arms and lights. But even if they have them, they have to stop, open the door, look and open their window and look and listen and make sure there's no train coming, and then they can cross the tracks. So I feel like there was probably a bus accident on a railroad tracks somewhere, but probably not as many as I've heard for that story to happen in so many places of the little ghost children pushing the car. That could be a very interesting discussion one day, though. So we do have some creepy stories too, but we don't have like individual monsters like these things I cannot pronounce, or like in Mexico they have El Chupacabra, which is half goat, half man, and kills people or something. So yes. Mm. Yeah, I don't have a stomach for the creepy. Oh, sorry.
Chupacabra, it's like a dog, or maybe.
I thought it was more goat,
Oh,
but I only heard about it on TV, so I'm not authentic here. Let's see. El
yeah, me too.
Chupacabra. Oh, there's a whole movie. I didn't even know that.
Chupacabra. It's like a Mexican myth, or yeah.
Puerto Rico and Mexico, apparently. Oh, it eats goats. Dog-like to lizard to even alien-like. Okay, so it eats goats, but okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. Yes. So I just kind of wonder sometimes where all these legends get started. Yeah. I've been seeing an ad on TV for a new movie called Candyman, which is very similar to the Bloody Mary thing, but instead they look in the mirror and they say Candyman and then he comes and kills them. And I'm like, I don't want to see this, but it's almost October, so it's time for these movies apparently. Yeah. I think I might be related to the original Mary, though, who is, uh, I think by marriage and awful little, but basically she was killing everyone, and so that's how she earned her nickname. Like in the Tower of London, she was like literally like Queen Mary, I think. Yeah. So, oh no, I have not. I do believe in such a thing. I know there are a lot of like urban legends and like ghost stories that aren't real. But I do believe in like demons and that like they can be real and I don't want to play with that. My grandma so my dad, he would tell me all these stories about these houses he grew up in being haunted. And I'm like, what in the world? Well, it turns out my grandma was doing like seances and stuff because she was exploring different religions and ended up doing seances and different things like that. And like, so of course every house he lived in was haunted if you're opening doorways to things like that. So ah,
Have Jalangkung. It's like a similar, like Ouija board.
okay.
In Jalangkung, we can calling the devil or ghost or something. And if we fail to take the devils come back to their home, maybe we will get possessed. So
Hmm.
it's very dangerous thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Some things should not be sold as games.
So I think the topic for next public speaking that will be about creepy story.
That is a way to keep it interesting, though. Everybody
Uh,
loves a good creepy circle, the story.
about
So,
tradition, about the what is it, fairy tales on creepy
yeah.
stories. Yeah,
There
we can think about that, Ecto.
Yeah,
you
it's a
go.
good idea
Yeah.
for the public speaking conversation.
Yeah. So trying to think the next one. Yeah, because you guys won't see me for September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh. Only four meetings left.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it is already 9:43. and we have discussed a lot of things from the from how to prepare public speaking. Then we also talk about birthday tradition. Then we end up in creepy stories, right?
Yes.
So very interesting today.
You guys were
If
all
last
so
week we talk
quiet.
about durian, I don't know how are they connected, right? Public
Right.
speaking, birthday tradition, and then creepy story.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Thank you very much, Daniele, for today's topic. Yes, Gary, you are forgiven. That's okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the discussion today. And then, guys, we are going to tell you, inform you later about the public speaking competition, and hopefully that what Daniele have give you today about public speaking, how to speak in public, then it will help you a lot in joining the competition. Okay, so please join the competition because it is good for you to practice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Daniele. Thank you, Feby, Efto, Owen, Alvaro, Gary, and then all of you who have joined today. And see you again next meeting. Yeah, Efto, just remind me of the next schedule. I forgot the, what is it, the date. I don't remember the date. You tell me about that. And then we will inform you the information about the public speaking competition on our group. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye, and have a nice rest for you guys. And then good morning for you, Daniele, and have a nice activities for today. Okay.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank-
sharing tips and
Thank you,
tricks.
Miss.
Oh, thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
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 Sama-sama.
Have a nice dream. Don't dream about those creepy things.
Oh, yeah.
Sama-sama.
Sorry.
Don't dream about Bloody Mary. Don't dream about Jalan. Don't dream about Pocong.
I always
Kuntilanak.
spend my time to watch or searching about that creepy stories. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Permission to end the meeting.
Yeah.